Hello, welcome to Conversations with Neuvias. My name is Carol. Today we have the lovely Marge.
Hello.
And our topic today is energetic boundaries and spiritual burnouts.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start off, Marge. What does it mean to set energetic boundaries since that's our topic today?
Yeah, I think it's about making sure that you're setting boundaries where you're not taking on more than you need to, just like with other boundaries, because everything is energy, right? And so
Yes.
if you're overextending yourself in a spiritual manner, people are asking you favors and you feel compelled to help everybody or do everything for everybody else and you're not taking care of yourself, you need to set those energetic boundaries, whether it's negative input or people just trying to get you to do things for them. You need to make sure you got those boundaries, whether they're physical or spiritual, energetic.
Mm-hmm.
Do
No,
you,
I agree. Oh, go ahead, Marge.
no, I was just going to ask you, do you feel the same way or do you have something to add to that?
No, actually, no, I agree with you because it's definitely deciding who, what, and how much of your time, your attention, your emotions, especially those emotions that set into place about who you want to give that energy to, like you were mentioning earlier,
Yeah,
saying no sometimes is the hardest thing anybody can do, because
takes
you don't want to be,
practice.
yeah, you don't want to be ugly, but at the same token, you don't want to be a doormat, as they put it. So, or
Right.
taken advantage of for that reason. So,
Mm-hmm.
when you're always saying yes, and they did make a movie with Jim Carrey, The Yes Man. When I don't know if you saw it, Marge, but he had to say yes for everything, and it just was a basically a burnout for him.
Yeah,
So in the movie,
yeah.
but yeah, just
And
giving.
energetic boundaries too is if you're exposing yourself to people with negative attitudes or pessimism or just general grumpiness, you want to put a boundary up and say, okay, that's all the that's all the energy equity you can have today, and remove yourself from those situations so you're not getting sucked into it.
Oh yeah, and you can tell sometimes with people's energy too, Marge, if they're in a happy mood or if they're just in a bad, grumpy mood,
Yeah.
and that'll just set your that boundary really quick if they're not in the energy you anticipate that you would like
Mm-hmm.
around you.
Right. Yeah. You can put
Yeah.
up that bubble of energy around yourself just to kind of protect yourself from some of that stuff. And after
Mhm.
you've had exposure, make sure you wash your hands and take some deep breaths and kind of clear the air. That helps with eliminating that situation. But if you continually go back into it, it kind of just wears you down.
Yeah, definitely. So I would say too, Marge, what does having spiritual burnout mean when you're still setting your boundaries? So let's just say you're saying like, no, I can't do it this time, but maybe this other time.
Yeah, I think with the burnout is more you just kind of get um, apathetic and numb. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
just kind of it doesn't really matter. You can get lethargic about your practices and taking care of yourself and your spiritual growth. And then you can also feel guilty about it, right? So
Yeah, I mean,
you got all these practices that you want to do and that you know make you feel better and lift you up, but you're apathetic about it and it's like, oh, forget it, I'm not doing that. And then you feel guilty that you're not doing it because you know it makes you feel better.
oh yeah, yeah. It's kind of like when you're setting that limit, and then you're like, well, I better go help them, because you feel bad and you're in back of your mind, but then you go help, and then you're like, oh my God, why did I do that, or whatever. So then, like you said, you start feeling guilty about setting that boundary.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about how to navigate through these types of burnouts. So, you know, um, you want to go, Marge? Or
Sure, I can go. Yeah.
okay.
I think it's important to keep in mind that you need to put some priorities on yourself when you're in burnout, whether it's a physical burnout or spiritual burnout. You need to make sure that you're taking care of your physical self too and doing things that make you happy. and shift your focus away from what you're burnout about. So if you're burnout about doing totally focused on spirituality stuff and you haven't come down to earth and kind of leveled out, you need to make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're getting your feet in the ground, like Carol and I are always saying, ground, ground, ground. But doing something that you enjoy that's productive and makes you feel good. It makes a big difference.
Oh
What
yeah.
what other things do you do to navigate through a burnout situation, Carol?
I would say definitely some self care. Like you have to, move around. Exercising is really good to kind of alleviate some of the burnout that you're feeling, and it also helps your energy as well. Definitely getting rest. I know a lot of people out there lately have been very restless and sleepless
Yeah.
nights for sure, and so getting that rest is very important. Especially to women because we don't want to look haggard.
Right? That's
Yes.
true.
But just making also Marge maybe reducing some of those commitments that you have made. Like you want to be a Wonder Woman and you want to take on the world, and or Superman and take on the world. But sometimes it doesn't work that effectively.
Right. Yeah. If you're burnout, you can't serve anybody else either.
No.
You can't serve yourself, you can't serve anybody else. You have to take care of yourself. It's important.
And not only that, even if you want to do so much, if you really think about it, you're going to start getting having anxiety and probably angry with the person that you're trying to help, or even if it's you that has burned yourself out, you're going to feel irritable within yourself, and it's not going to help anybody in the long run, or
Yeah,
yourself for that matter.
that's true. Very true.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Marge, what do you think are a few examples of enforcing these energetic boundaries and limits?
Like I said, making sure that you're setting a time limit. When you see yourself getting into a situation where you're like, oh, I don't want to have to deal with that person, or oh, I don't want to go do that thing. Make sure that you're honoring yourself and your feelings about that. That's your guides and the spirit trying to tell you you need to take a break, or you need to take it easy, or back off a little bit. So if you back off a little bit and do a little self-care, that'll help you set those boundaries more reasonably. Don't
No,
you
I
think?
Yes, no, I really agree. Even with, let's just say work, be sure that you're not taking on so much responsibility, or if somebody's calling out all the time, you're the one that's taking it and taking it. You've got to definitely make time for yourself.
Definitely.
Even family, kind of if you see family all the time, do you still need a little bit of space from family and even friends for that matter.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I love you, but I need to keep my visits to like 30 minutes or something, just so you can recharge. You're not
Right.
being ugly with anybody. You're just trying to regroup.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they'll honor that. If they're a person that's worth your time, they'll honor your boundaries. That's
yeah.
a key thing you need to keep in mind is if they're upset that you've set a boundary, then then you really need the boundary
Oh yeah,
even more.
yeah. Even if friends call you and oh my god, I have so much to tell you, blah blah blah. You might want to just tell them like, what, my energy's not available for this discussion today. Just
Yeah.
can we talk about it on another time or something? And you're just being once again setting those boundaries in place. So
True. True. I'm sure
yeah,
everybody's had a friend that'll call them and just run their ear off daily or so often that it's like, oh gosh, I just need a break from them. And take the break. And let them know then you don't let it go so long that you're feeling exhausted and wanting to get away from them because that's not serving your friend or yourself.
no, no, not at all. Even if it's a romantic partner, you have that quality time with your romantic partner, but also remember that you don't want to lose yourself in the relationship like a lot of people tend to do. So, just be
That's
sure
true.
that you're, yeah, asking for your space, just so you can recharge and your romantic partner can recharge.
Yeah. It really, really helps the relationships.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And the other one too, Marge, I don't think anybody calls anymore, but even using your phone and your texting, um, maybe you don't want to respond to messages after 9 o'clock when you're getting ready to get your zenful sleep or something. So,
right?
you, the good thing about phones now, you can put that on
That do not disturb.
do not disturb mode. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's kind of
yeah.
nice, and I personally don't use it, but I need to.
I
But
use it. I actually set one up on my phone that's called No Thank You. And so if it's not somebody in my priority list, they don't
uh-huh.
get through. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
So there's like four people on my priority list that can get through that, and nobody else, no other calls come through.
Oh my God, that's pretty cool. Like,
It's helpful.
yeah, yeah. So I do know my friends have put their after a certain peak. It's like I'm done for the day with my cell phone or whatever. So
Yeah. Well, like
and
growing
just
up, when we were growing up, my mother would
mhm.
not let us call anybody's house before 9 o'clock in the morning or after 8:30 p.m. We could not, when the wall phone was in, when we had wall phones back in the day,
Oh
there
yeah.
were times that was inappropriate to call, and we just didn't do it.
I you know what about those wall phones? You'd hear the phone ring all day, but then after a certain hour, you wouldn't hear it. But then when you got that late phone call at night,
You know, it was something important.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's something that
Hmm.
can't can't wait at all. So
Right.
those were always the scary ones when they
Yeah.
came,
Yeah.
so late at night.
Phone ringing at 2 o'clock, that's a problem.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but
So
nowadays if you've got your cell phone on without a notifications, and with all the notifications you get, so and so posted to Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, and if you've
right,
got all these notifications and the news and the stock market news and all this stuff coming onto your phone, it just becomes a constant sound, and it's anxiety building in itself, exhausting.
yeah. It does, Marge, and don't feel guilty or pressured into like trying to get everything all in one day. If you can't get to it that day, there's always tomorrow. So it's
Yep.
nobody's, yeah, unless it's an emergency, which I understand.
Right.
So, protect your energy just like everybody else does, and when you're in a better state of mind, pick up that phone call or that text or whatever the case.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah. So just state those boundaries. There's always reasons why we do it or we need to do it. So, and keep it just short and simple. So,
Yeah, it helps.
yes. So let's say, Marge, just moving on to another topic, you're just constantly in your spiritual world. Me, when I started learning my spiritual side of life, or when I started opening to spirituality, I really just wanted to be in the spiritual world and not forget about everything else
Oh,
around me.
yeah.
Yeah, and so, you have to come back down to reality from time to time. So, is that considered a spiritual burnout when you're in that spiritual world all the time?
I don't know. I would think that would just lead to spiritual burnout, not necessarily be spiritual burnout. I think it would cause it because you're going to get so focused on that. You don't feel like eating. You don't really care if you've taken a shower.
Hmm.
You just want to be in in the vibe, in the zone, right?
Yeah,
And I think everybody that started on that path gets to that point from time to time. But you got to have a little bit of reality, balancing again back to the balance of your spiritual life and your physical life. There's got to
right.
be a balance, or it'll mess you up. It's not easy.
No, it isn't easy. And I think for me, Marge, it was because I was learning everything. I wanted to know everything of
Yeah.
the spiritual side of life. And so I was like, I gotta know this. And, and yeah, I'd go to work, but then I'd come right back into where I left off with my spiritual side. So,
Right.
but it is good to, from time to time, just to kind of disassociate yourself. Um, Nothing's going to change. You're not going to lose anything over it. So just kind of get in that zone, but also stay out of that. Get in the zone, but balance yourself when you're in that zone.
Yeah, balancing it is important, and setting the priorities for yourself too. You have
Yeah.
to sit down and think about it a little bit. If you find yourself getting too into the spiritual side and not taking care of the physical side, or vice versa, trying to make it so that you're setting a little bit of discipline into it so that you can keep a little better balance. Um, I know when I first started doing heavier, like heavier meditations and
Hmm.
some of the channeling, I would meditate for 3 hours at a time, no problem. And I could do it more than once a day because it was so
Wow.
energizing and exciting, and I
Yeah.
loved the messages I was getting and all that. And it's like, okay, but I have to do the dishes, I have to wash the laundry, I have to get some work done,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Dang.
So
Yeah.
you just finding that balance is important.
Yeah, because that can also be harmful to you. You're neglecting your work, you're neglecting your sleep, you're
Uh huh.
neglecting your partner, your relationships, your health.
Right.
And you start feeling a numbness in there and a disconnection from, you know, being around people and stuff because you're just so in that mindset of I've got to get to learn this, or I've got to do this, or whatever it should
Right.
what you're
Yeah,
dealing with.
remember why you're here in the first place, right? Is to have the experience of living the life. That's. uh, I remember reading one time, one of the gurus from India was talking about how people that are in our kind of space actually
Yeah.
have it harder than they do. He says, I don't worry about anything. I go in this place and I meditate all day. And somebody feeds me and somebody clothes me, and I don't have to worry about anything but staying in focus. He says, I don't know how you people balance that with your day-to-day life if you have to manage life. That's a
Oh yeah.
challenge for all of us.
Dang, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, but it is a challenge, Marge. Like we're giving you some insight here. The quick fixes to rebalance that is definitely getting grounded. Even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes, taking
Yeah.
your daily breaths. You're inhaling, exhaling, barefoot, walking outside.
Hmm.
Just the really simple things that you can do. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, just
Keep yourself grounded instead of going off into the spiritual la la land. We all cannot afford or have the ability, especially in the Western world, of going to a mountainside and praying, or into an ashram and just staying in meditation all the time.
oh yeah, for sure. Another one would be, what are some signs that you think, Marge, are spiritual practices that may become harmful?
I don't think there are any practices that can become harmful if you're balancing them. I can't think of any. Do you have any in mind?
Yeah, I think just like um, doing eating your food, your hygiene, exercising, some of that, you're neglecting your basic needs and stuff. So I think that's kind of one way of dealing with that. Isolating yourself from other people or your surroundings. I
Right.
think is another way that because, like I said, you're so wanting to get into that and get into that. So
Yeah.
yeah, you forget about family and friends, so you start isolating yourself because, like for me, you wanted to get to know more and more and more, and you need to learn this, and you're and so enthralled with what you're trying to learn that you forget about everything around you.
Yeah. Forget about the actual journey of the
Yeah.
experience.
Yes. No, for
Yeah.
sure.
So it's not a specific practices, it's the overindulgence in the practice of
Yes.
ignoring your life that can actually pull you back,
Yes.
make it harmful to your psyche.
Psyche. Yeah, for sure. Um, so yeah, just those bits and pieces that you can get so sidetracked, especially like when you start doing your spiritual awakening and stuff. You can just really get sidetracked on that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I think a lot of people think there's a destination for the spiritual walk and don't
hmm.
think about it as being a journey. And so you're wanting to learn it all, and you'll never learn it all. Not when you're in the body.
No, no, because there you're always learning new things about spirituality too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, well, March, I think we've pretty much covered everything about our topic today. Is there anything else that you wanted to add that you think we may have missed?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think we've covered it pretty well, Carol.
Okay, good. Hopefully, we answered some questions out there with
Yeah.
this lovely topic today. So,
Yep. Set your boundaries, find your balance.
yes, and be happy and joyous doing
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Well, my name is Carol. Until next time, you can visit us at www.neuvias.com. And as always,
On March, don't forget to like and subscribe and let us know if you've had any challenges with spiritual boundaries or burnout. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
yes, until next time, much
Love
love and
y'all.
light. Bye bye.
Bye.